Hey everyone, it's Evangeline right here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the etrailer RV mat. So this is going to be the smaller one in the RV mat series that etrailer offers. Awesome if you're overlanding, you're car camping, you have a smaller camper, or you just need a smaller space of a mat. So we're going to talk about how this works, its different features, and compare it to the larger sizes for those different types of adventures. I really like this RV mat. In fact, I'm thinking of getting this smaller size to keep inside of my vehicle. Like, I like to go car camping, and I currently have a quilt as well as some blankets and a picnic basket inside of my car, so I'm ready at all times. Now, I would like to upgrade from the quilt to this mat just because it's more weather resistant, it's more durable, it can hold up to different surfaces. So if you're going car camping or overlanding or other scenarios, maybe you're at a concert, you need to hang out by the grass, you're tailgating, you're hanging out at the beach, you want to go for a picnic in the park, this would be very helpful for those situations. So it's hard to explain the experience of just feeling the mat, sitting in the mat, stepping on the mat. I'll try. Because it's made of a polypropylene, so that's going to be a durable material, but the way it's shaped is different. So it feels like it's woven plastic straws. So you have the cushion of a plastic straw. We also have that durability of a thick or tight weave. And with it set up on the grass, even though we have some pretty tall blades of grass here, we've got some rocks underneath as well. None of the blades of grass are sticking up through the weave because of those two layers, and I still have that nice cushioned feeling. It actually rained last night, so the soil underneath the grass is pretty moist, and if I had my quilt out here, I'd be concerned because then my quilt would get wet, but here, our mat is perfectly dry. And with it set out in the sun, because of its material, it doesn't heat up. So I was getting a little warm underneath the sun. The mat wasn't, so it has a nice cool feeling to it too. It's a reversible mat, so your seams are going to be sewn the same way. You do have the different colors on each side. What is very impressive are the seams as well as the grommets. So just how it's all sewn together, it's not going to come apart and start fraying, and you have this strong grommet to stake it down for softer turf. Most brands just have those grommets in the corners if they use grommets. This one has it all around the mat. This gives you more versatility to where you're going to stake it down, as well as more security because you can use all of the points. I personally like how it balances the thickness of the material because you want something thick enough to cushion, but also thin enough where it's breathable and easier to dry out. So some people go the other route where they get a super thick mat that's kind of like artificial turf. That's interesting. It's artificial turf in the shape of a mat, but then you have that thick material that might not be good for the ground. The other route is to have a very thin weave, and that's great for keeping that grass healthy, but also you can feel all of the rocks, all of the stones underneath. This has a really good balance. Now, how about the grip? You have that polypropylene material. Is it slippery? We've got a good cushion there, but as I go back and forth, we do have a little bit of movement. I'm gripping onto the mat and sliding it with my shoe. Something I was wondering about was, what if it rains? What if water gets onto the mat? Would it become slick and slippery? So even though there's water on here, there's like a good amount of grip still. I'm not worried about slipping and sliding on this. Now, when sliding things around, it's always good to be conscious of making sure that your objects don't have sharp edges. That way it doesn't rub up against the mat and tear it. Here, even when we're sliding our chairs, sliding our coolers, it's all good. But did you know, when you do go out camping, you might be conscious of sliding your chair around, but you might not be conscious of if you're sliding your mat around. So that is something to take a look at underneath. So with a heavy cooler up top, I pulled the entire mat across our parking lot, so we do have a little bit of wear and tear. Now, this is an extreme situation, but something to keep in mind. Now, the mat did get a little muddy when I had it outside on the grass. That's normal. I'm not concerned about spilling anything on it just because of the material it's made of. Like, it's going to be perfectly fine. But if you do want to hose it off, you could just get some water, get your hose, and spray off the mat. After hosing your mat off, leave it somewhere to hang. Let's see how long it will take to go completely dry. It's been about 45 minutes and it's been an overcast, kind of cold day, so it's understandable that there's still some water beads on there, but that's the thing. The water has beaded up on the fabric and isn't actually soaking it. So I do recommend like shaking it. That might help it dry faster. What actually is wet is the seams around the rug. I have our mat inside of its black carry bag. So you have rope handles, you have a zipper on the side that goes over it. It is shaped to carry around that mat in the folded position. Now I have mixed feelings about that bag. I really like how sturdy it is and its construction, as well as how it's shaped for the mat. It also has an extra pocket on the inside for your stakes. I would like just a little bit of extra room for the hammer. You can fit that mallet in there too. And the mat does make it easier for you to fold it up so it fits perfectly in here. But I'll show you how that works when we unfold it. Let's take this mat out. So for the day-to-day, this is how I would usually store it without the bag. Because you have these two elastic loops and they just cinch that mat in so that way you can store it inside of your trunk or in your car just like this. When you're at your campsite or when you need your mat, you just take those loops off and unfold it. As you unfold your mat, pick whichever color you want facing up. I personally like the lighter side because it's all bright, but you can also go with the darker gray. It's going to work the same way no matter which side you choose. And just like that, you have your mat all set up. Super quick and super easy. If you were on softer turf, you could use the included stakes to stake the mat down. Here, we're just going to weigh it down with something heavy. So we have these seams on our mat as well, and that's going to help out with folding it up, not just to figure out where to fold, but keep those folds from coming apart. And also, those seams are there to keep those two layers from shifting. So I really like this RV rug if you do have those smaller applications. Maybe you have a smaller camper or trailer like this. Maybe you have a teardrop camper. Maybe you're just planning on going for a picnic in the park, or you're overlanding, or you're car camping. This is really easy to store inside of your vehicle and pop right back out once you're ready to go. Now on that thought though, it does have a good balance between cushion as well as permeability or being light and compact. So in this video, we saw it in different situations, whether it was on the pavement or whether it was on grass. We saw that those two layers of material really help cushion, but also create that nice stable surface. I do know some people prefer the thicker material of artificial turf, and others prefer the other way where they want a thinner weave. Those are perfectly fine. You can find options for those here at eTrailer. But if you want a good all-around RV mat that's solid, but also comfortable and good for pretty much any situation, hopefully this showed you how well it works for that and if it is the right fit for your situations. And if you need a larger RV mat and you like this design, you can find them right here at eTrailer. But this right here right now was a look at the 6x9 foot RV mat. My name is Evangeline and I hope you enjoyed the journey.